good afternoon, and very good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Biography. Alright, so first of all, right from the scratch, this video is totally objective. Alright, and in this video, I'm going to talk about Nikon D6 and why Nikon D6 right now it's a really great deal to go with. But wait. I know all of you guys all well. It's Mirrorless world. The Z8 is just announced and Z9 price is dropping down. Why we should go with D6? Are you kidding me? Nobody wants to talk about D6. Wait. That's what I'm going to tell you. Why the D6 is a sweet deal as we speak to go with. First of all, D6 is not a slouch, alright? It's the flagship DSLR and last of its kind, alright? So, being the last of its kind, if you're going to buy it, it will last forever as long as you are going to take care of it, alright? And maybe after 20 years or 30 years or 50 years, you will sell that camera at a much higher price point because it's the last of its kind. That being said, there is no low megapixel mirrorless camera like Z9 right now, which can fulfill the low light requirement. Now, why we should go with D6 when we already have the Z9 with superior autofocus capability? I'm not sure how many of you have used the D6, but trust me, I use the D6 and the 105 autofocus points in the viewfinder, they are very intelligent and they can track the eye. If you put all the focus points on the face, it can track the eye, literally. So it kind of eye autofocus when if you putting the 105 autofocus points, like you compose a shot like that where the 105 autofocus points comes over the face, so it automatically detects the eye. That the D6 autofocus is this much intelligent. I used it, I know it, that's why. Another thing is, of course, it's 20 megapixel. So it's 20 megapixel means you can shoot 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 20,000 ISO and you still can get away with clean images, which is not possible in Z9 or Z8 or Z7. The only camera which gives you this feature it's Z6 or Z6 II or Z5, but they are not professional level camera. They are consumer level cameras. Again, if you need a robust camera which can take the beating into the field, like if you want to shoot birds, sports, action, wildlife, photojournalism type of thing, you need a D6 because of the low light capability, because of faster autofocus system, because of high frames per second. These three things are not available right now in the Nikon ecosystem, which gives you all these three features when it comes to mirrorless. There isn't. I hope Nikon will release a low megapixel like 24 megapixel or minimum at least camera, full frame, a mirrorless world with the autofocus capability of like Z9. Then of course you don't have any reason to go with D6. But right now, if you need a camera which is solid like rock, low megapixel count for low light capability, you can go insane high ISO, you can have the one of the best autofocus which can go high frames per second, which has dual CF Express fast cards to write it down, and what else, GPS, what else, there is so many networking feature in D6 which if you use properly, especially with the Nikon software called NX Field, the D6 is fully compatible with that that software. You can remotely shoot, You can change the mode. You can do a lot of things remotely by using that software. But again, that software is targeting a very niche, very small percentage of people who are into sports action wildlife. You know, they live, their bread and butter are sports action wildlife. So it's a very limited. But in general, right now the price of D6 at eBay, it's so less that I couldn't believe it. Literally 50%. It was launched at $6,500. $6,500. Yesterday, I watched on eBay. It is available at $3,200. Literally 50% of the price. What else you need? Flagship body. I saw that D6 14,400 shutter counts, $3,200. Can you believe it? And for the people like me, there are hundreds and thousands of people who are still having old legacy glasses like D-type lenses, G-type lenses, and those AIS lenses which requires coupling, index coupling on the camera body, which Nikon D6 have. So for the guy like us, the D6 is a very sweet deal. I can get the D6 and I just put any of the 600 f4 from the F mount, which is very cheap now available, and all those high-end glasses which are price already going down because of thanks to the mirrorless world. We can go with that and still get stunning images. 14 frames per second, robust body, low light capability, insane low light capability of the D6. I know that there is much difference between D5 and D6. By the way, in D6 you can customize your own autofocus group. There are two options. You can configure as much as you want. You can configure the autofocus group like this, or the line, or like this, or box, or rectangle, whatever. Up to 21 types of autofocus group you can configure in D6. I believe D6 is really one of the great DSLR you can buy right now and shoot. It's just like you grab D6, you go and shoot. You don't take, you just go and shoot, because D6 can do anything for you. You can shoot landscape, portrait, sports, especially the birds, action, wildlife. Of course, it's 20 megapixel. But imagine, you will get high ISO capability because of the low megapixel count. These machines are built for extreme condition, for extreme weather condition, extreme low light capabilities, where most of the photojournalist needs. There isn't any camera out there except one in the mirrorless world. There is only one camera in the mirrorless world which can compete with D6, and that camera is Canon R3. Canon R3 full professional grade camera, 24 megapixel, low light capability, insane ISO, best dynamic range, whatever. I mean, the Canon R3 is literally the counterpart of D6 with more autofocus capability, eye autofocus, bird autofocus, and object tracking and blah blah blah, which already Z9 offering. But Z9 having too much megapixel, which is 45, so its low light capability is not as good as R3. That's where we need something in the mirrorless world which can replace the D6. There is no in the Canon and the Nikon world. There isn't. I hope and I'm praying that Nikon will bring something like R3 to address. Of course, Nikon released the Z9, which Canon is going to address with their R1, I believe. High megapixel camera and all that. So the bottom line is the D6 price is so less right now that if you have already F-mount glasses and you are using FTZ adapter and using those glasses over your Z6 or Z7s or Z9 or Z8, why don't you just go and buy the used D6? And you don't need to put an adapter and you can just go and shoot. D6, trust me, I am very much interested in D6 because I use the D3S. I'm using D3S, which is like, I don't know, 14, 15-year-old camera. And so I know how good these flagship body holds when you go into the field and shoot. I used to own Z9, and of course it ruins my habit of the autofocus system, and I was just thinking and shooting. I was not worrying about the autofocus because camera was taking care of all the time when it comes to birds, when it comes to portrait, when it comes to subject tracking or anything, sports, and especially in the sports. Z9 is a different league, but when we need something which can handle the beating into the field, and especially the low light, especially where we need to shoot at high ISO, where we need high frames per second without any thinking about the buffer, then we need D6. D6 can go, D6 got bottomless buffer. If you have the fastest CFX card, you know, which goes 1700 Mbps, megabytes per second, then the D6 is bottomless buffer. So you just keep shooting and shooting and shooting without filling the buffer. D6 is like that. It's really crazy. It got touch screen, and you can shoot 4K video, but the lenses of the F mount are not designed for the video, so that's where you will feel a struggle, because the mirrorless world is purely optimized for video. The lenses is purely optimized for video for all the mirrorless, regardless of the brand. So when if you want to shoot video, you have to go switch to mirrorless. But when it comes to taking stills and only photos in any kind of environment, D6 right now is a very sweet deal, literally. And I know my this video will be taken against me and by some people, like, how come you are talking about D6? But here is the thing, D6 is a tool. I think right now the price of that tool is so less that we can go with that and still take very great images. And that tool will last long in our kit bag for a very long time. And the more longer we go with that machine, the more value it will hold itself, and we are going to get best out from it. That's what I believe about D6, not the D5, D6. And when I used the D6, there was a clear difference, literally clear difference in autofocus system in compared to D5. And I was surprised that how come it picking the eye without even thinking. I just move the camera towards the face, and the autofocus system immediately tracks the eye. So that eye autofocus thing was there inside the D6. It's really crazy. It's crazy if you think about that. So if you get a chance to go with D6, don't think, just go, because D6 in my view will be one of the best purchase that you think you invested in as a photographer, and it's going to increase its value with the passage of time, because it's the last of its kind. So go for D6 if you have $3,200. It is that cheap, insanely cheap. If anybody asks me, well, if you have the D5, D6, or Z8 or Z9, which camera you will go? Well, it's a tricky question, but I will pick Z9 and I will pick D6, two camera. and I can do anything. D6 and Z9, I can literally do anything by using these two cameras. When it comes to low light, I will go with D6. When it comes to resolution, I will go with Z9. And I know these two cameras will carry the best autofocus that Nikon can offer. So I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about the buffer. I don't have to worry about frames per second. D6 can go 14 frames per second. Z9 can literally shoot 20, 30, 60, 120 frames per second. Z9 is a beast. It's a different league. I can't compare Z9 with D6, but all I'm trying to say is when you have these two machines like D6 and Z9, then you can literally do anything. Anything. You have 120 to 300, 2.8. You can slap that lens on D6 and you can shoot insane things in sports, action, wildlife at 2.8. You have 400 2.8 E-type FL. You have 600 f4 FL. You have 800 5.6. You have so many great lenses for the f-mount. You have 500 5.6 PF. Amazing lens. With D6 you can do a lot. Don't worry about the resolution. You can increase the resolution by 4 times in Lightroom. Still can get very decent images. I don't know what people bother about and cry about the resolution. I have 12 megapixel D3s and D700. I quadruple the resolution in the Lightroom by using its enhanced feature, and I can crop any way I want. It's that simple. So the whole idea in this video is to share with you that go with D6 if you get a chance. Right now is one of the best choices that you can get to shoot anything. Sports, action, wildlife, birds, photojournalism, landscape, portrait. It's a flagship camera and it's last of its kind. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in future with some new content. Till then, take care. Bye.